12 month reading for the rest of the year, and I'll do it the way I normally do it and pop it up on the members area. And I'm also going to do so, we're going to start our beginning practice, a little bit of housekeeping, setting intentions and warming up the chi with the visualization for the Teo Tantric. But I grabbed my cards because I looked at the time and I thought I haven't got long enough to do that whilst I'm here waiting for the kids to pick up. And I pulled out the pack, and the card at the bottom of the pack was emerging into grace. Open my soul to grace. I open my soul to grace. And I looked at this and I thought that's to share. Just look at that. It looks like Sleeping Beauty almost in slumber. So what I'm getting from this card and why I'm feeling the call to share it, someone out there who has been sleeping. This is also a reminder of Ebok, of spring, of a waking up. All the buds are now coming up from the ground. Little thing like life is kind of coming back into play. But still a lot of consciousness is sleeping. That fish there looks a little bit like the snake, so reminding me deeply of the fact that we are now in the wood snake. And as I said about my download, the wood energy that we had from last year and this year is still kind of coming through town to mount through this year, next year. It's all about growth. And think of the properties of wood. Wood, even in it when it's been cut, still can expand, it can contract, so it can open and close depending on the heat, the frequency of it. It can still be molded, creating like beautiful furniture and structures that can be rigid as well. But essentially, you think of wood, you think of a tree, you think of growth. It's got roots, foundations that are being built, and it's obviously the buds, the growth of that's part of what's happening. When we link that with the energy of the snake, then you're thinking of the serpentine energy, kundalini rising energy, layers, and thinking of the layers of consciousness here in terms of how we are waking, like in from the slumber. She's also deep beneath the ocean in this photo, and I always, for me, my guidance is given to me in images, so in words as well, as it comes through. But when I look at that image, I get this impression of like deep beneath the oceans. What's really important at the moment is our oceans are somewhat, we don't know what's at the depths of our oceans. We're only beginning to understand, even more so than deep space. We know more about deep space than we do about our bottoms of our sea in some cases. There is an awakening of this Lemurian energy, this energy of the oceans in general, and how they're coming to into the news, into like our minds and our forethought. But think of the energy of the oceans is the subconscious, this deep sea, the depths. And that is the layers that are coming up. Things are coming from the depths to the surface of our consciousness, to the surface of our being, surface of our understanding in what's happening in the world. And I look at this and I also think about the seaweed, and the other thing that comes through is obviously the power of the nutrition that's in things like seaweed. As a vegan, I'm very much aware of things like spirulina. For me, is where I get my B12. So that in alone, there is so much knowledge and understanding that will come from the micromarine biology of our oceans that's yet to be discovered within the layers of this growth. The fish is representative to me in my other fortune cards as our finances. So it's we're waking up to the way an understanding and the undercurrents, if you like, of what happens in the worlds of finances, but also it means we're coming into wealth. So it's coming into an understanding of abundance and how it flows, how it can flow, and its growth. But emerging into grace are the words on this card. And this is a sense of what's happening to us as a human, as an evolutionary journey, as we start to understand the depths of our soul and our inner being as we're waking through our ascension path. We're truly growing on a level that we've never been here before. We may have, in the last golden age, had ability for what we seem as being these amazing technologies, but the technology itself is us. This Aquarian, we talk about AI and all of that kind of technology. We are the most powerful technology that we have. We're a gift, each and every one of us. And as we start to understand the gift of our bodies and how we can understand that on levels that even I can't comprehend, one of the guidance that keeps coming through, as I keep mentioning, is about silica. So the crystals, little crystal quartz silicas that we have in our brain. That's where the key is. So any neurologists out there, that they're going to be the ones that start to uncover that part of the brain, the way it works with the light that's coming through in this part of where Earth is galactically, is how these evolutionary shifts happen. And the other thing I get from looking at this, it reminds me, you see those pictures of the dinosaurs, the fish coming out of the sea and that path of evolution. But this is the human now coming out of that subconscious, not being aware of stuff, to actually being aware of how we create, how we evolve. Now, you could say that we're already aware of that. Most of us that are on a spiritual path and journey, we do that anyway. We work with the new moon maybe to manifest. If you don't, you might have heard of things even on the very superficial level of things like The Secret, or going more into like Abraham Hicks and learning how to manifest, or on more of a spiritual path and knowing the keys and all of these different, there's so many guides and guidances out there that actually mean the same thing. But part of this is understanding the science of the body and how it's working. So what kept coming through as I kept banging on, which I've dubbed the goblet effect, these tiny little crystals that are in the brain, with the right and left brain hemispheres, and the hippocampus is the bit at the back. So we work with this in Qigong. So this is why they kept saying to me, this is about how that is evolving, that bridge of colour, the rainbow bridge people talk about, the bridge between the different levels of the soul. One of the things I spoke about with the members, and I'm going to leave this up public as well, in the members' energy report that I wrote for this month, I dubbed it and in the little picture, what did I call it? The TARDIS effect. There's this sense of, it's a bit, and I was thinking about it on the way to shopping last night. It's a little bit like you get in your car, which is amazing. You think of the miracle of this, and it's Thankful Thursday. So spend a little bit of time reveling in the gratitude for this, the amazing technology of a car, which I'm sitting in. I get in the car and I'm outside my house. I get in. I just move these functions a little bit, and it travels, and it takes me to where I am now. And when you get out, you're in a different spot. It's the same sort of thing when I'm saying about this TARDIS effect. We're opening our mind when this light is hitting the crystals. As we step into what is our TARDIS, our body is the TARDIS in reference as a metaphor. As we step into this body, we then step out with this sort of understanding. We're in the same room, we're in the same body, but our understanding, our awareness, our connection to these different rooms, if you like, different dimensions, different levels of consciousness, that's exactly what it is. It's sort of an up and down, but it's not a lower, you're better than. It's just different rooms is probably the best way I like to think of it, or what I was being shown in images. And in each of these rooms, you could have 100, 1,000 of you standing in this room together and all be seeing something different, because each of our rooms is different depending on our own experiences, our own levels of depth of that ocean, the layers, the currents, the layers there. And that is going to happen with both of these. Within the Kundalini energy, our rising of understanding the two fields, the two spins of our Makraba. So you've got the negative, the positive, you've got the top spin and then the bottom spin. So it moves to create create the actual Mercury bar and the field around you. And that goes into the science of that, which goes past my understanding, but this is what I'm saying, being told and being shown. So the two different levels of that with regards to how the energy flows up and how it flows down, that's evolving. So now most people know about the 7 chakras. There are lots more people now aware of the 15. As you are opening into these states, these higher states, you have access like a door in your choosing, in your own divine timing, to open those, to get into that. And that is what you can say to yourself. I open my soul to grace, to divine grace, to these different states of being, in aligned with these high frequency light energies, but bringing it down through the Kundalini energy to grounding it. That's why he's gone back to get his bag. So it's more than that. It's one sound could be multiple informations, because it speaks to us on I keep losing connection, bless you, on multiple levels. Anyway, I'm gonna round it up then, because I try to keep these nice and sweet and short, but I will do the yearly post. But I thought that felt relevant for the moment, for what's happening when I'm asking constantly, and that's for the year. This is kind of in the background theme that will be going on, has been going on for the last year, will be going on for the next few years, but feeling more bold and confident about insights in how it's coming through. It's part of that wood, it's part of that snake transformation energy. It's also, we think of the snake as the temptations, and it's linked to temptation. It's linked to the cravings, why we tend to crave the thing that we need. We also tend to crave that which our body, or we're like those things that our body is telling us actually it doesn't want anymore. So there's that battle itself going on because of the leveling up. Because there's a need to ground in very much in 3D. But the best way to do that is with the Jinn energy. So I'm going to put up on the members page the next chapter, the practice, the physical practice for the tantric practice for working with the Jinn. I think it's called beginning your practice, setting intention and warming up the chi. Visualization becomes actualizations as the chi body responds to our creative intention. So this is aligning with the higher purpose, and like the first step, basically. I thought it'd be great for the new year. So have a beautiful day, and thank you for joining me. I'll leave this up. It might take a second for me to shift it around, but it'll be up public. So thanks. Let me know in the comments if you find this stuff interesting, if you want to know more about that stuff as well.